for the October 19th, 2020 virtual special community development committee meeting. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir, at 5:01 p.m. Chairman Moiseo.
I'm here.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Turner. Alderman Florian.
I can't hear anybody.
It looks like we do not have a quorum at this point. We have you and Alderman Seeger.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll wait around. That's fine. We can wait a minute or two or whatever. All right.
Alderman Mosio?
Yes.
Alderman Riddell Kirkwood is not in the house.
Okay.
This is a presentation.
Do we have everybody? Do we have enough for a quorum or not? We have me, Seeger, and nobody else?
Nobody else, sir, but we could go with item 4B, the presentation.
Okay.
And skip the action item for now, and then perhaps the other alderman will join by the time we get done with the presentation.
Can
So
we even
would
do
go
that?
out of order.
As long as we can do it, it doesn't matter to me.
You're fine as long as all you do is proceed with something that doesn't require a decision to be made.
Yeah, and this is just a presentation. This is going to be nothing anyway. So,
folks, I have
Alderman Seeger.
Alderman Turner. I have Alderman Turner on the line now, so we're trying to troubleshoot his issues.
Okay, and Alderman Florian is just joining. I've just let her in from the waiting room.
oh, then we're good.
Yes.
Let's get everybody up. Let's wait one more minute, get everybody up and running, and we'll just go through A and B. Okay.
That works, sir.
Okay.
Looks like Alderman Florian's fully connected now.
Okay. So can we have we got to start again here. So October 19th, 2020 virtual special community development meeting. Roll call, please.
Okay, at 5:05, Chairman Moiseo.
Here.
Alderman Seeger.
He was here.
He is. I can see him. I just can't hear him yet.
Present.
Thank you. Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Turner. Alderman Florian.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Clerk, do we have anything for audience time about anything on the agenda? I can't hear anybody. Clerk Kilkelly, do we have anything?
I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
Nothing for audience time. Sorry
Thank you.
about that.
That's all right. Old business, nothing, new business. Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Seeger to adopt an ordinance amending and clarifying winter parking restrictions. Any questions on the motion? Do we need anybody to explain it? Anybody, do we have anybody from the police? If not, we can just vote it, and if we have any questions, we can ask the question when we get to the council meeting also.
Commander Beach is trying to join, but he hasn't been able to connect just yet.
Okay. We can wait and see.
Or if you'd like, we could move on to item B and then come back to item A.
At Commander Beach yet or no?
Not yet. Alderman
Shut my
Turner's
door.
turn.
Okay.
Did you want to recognize Alderman Turner?
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Motion by Alderman Seeger, second by Alderman Florian to seat Alderman Turner. I guess we got to do a roll call. Roll call real quick on that.
That's a
You're muted, Noel.
Muted.
thank you. That's at 5:07 p.m. Alderman Turner,
Here.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood, Alderman Seeger,
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
All right. Okay. Is Commander Beach up and running yet or no?
He's about to join. Let me admit him.
Okay.
Yes.
Commander Beach, thank you for joining us. We have just reached your agenda item. So if you can unmute yourself.
Ready. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Commander, just give us a quick synopsis of the winter parking restrictions, please.
Actually, it's kind of mislabeled. We're looking at changing the alternate parking year round to midnight till noon. We figured
Okay.
it's easier instead of having to switch it from something that, is it December 1st? Is it November 1st? Year round, we can do that. It will help with street cleaning. It'll help with snow plowing, and it'll help with identifying some of our abandoned autos.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the motion? Remember, I can't see. My screen doesn't show me, so Noel, you got to help me with that. Any questions on the motion?
I don't see any questions.
Okay, then real quick, we're going to take a motion by Alderman Seeger.
Could we?
We're going to seat Alderman Kirkwood real
sir,
quick here.
Alderman?
Yep.
Thank you.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Turner to seat Alderman Kirkwood. Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. You're muted, sir. Alderman Kirkwood, you're muted. Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. Alderman Seeger,
Aye.
Chairman Moiseo.
Aye. Okay, so everybody's seated. Now we'll take a motion on, we had the original motion was by Alderman Florian, I think, and second by Alderman Seeger to adopt an ordinance amending and clarifying winter parking restrictions as explained by Commander Beach. Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Seeger,
Aye.
Chairman Moiseo.
Aye. Motion passed and carried. Thank you very much. Item B is just a presentation by Verde Solutions, solar panel installations on municipal infrastructure. Noel, do we have somebody from Verde?
There's a group of folks here. If you folks would all like to turn on your video, and whoever's speaking, unmute yourself and introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Gersh. I'm the founder CEO of Rebate Solutions. We are a renewable energy and energy efficiency firm, that started here in Chicago, but we are actually a national firm. We've done work in about 48 states, about 1,500 projects. We're blessed to partner with Richard Dent, who is also on, and I have my lead engineer along with me, Matt Waukegan, who's spearheading this project at the water treatment facility and also the parking garage. So I wanted to, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. I really actually enjoy presenting to the boards, especially about renewable energy, and because of the great environment that we have here in the state of Illinois with incentives coupled with federal incentives and utility incentives, it makes a going renewable and going green really easy for municipalities such as yourself. And we're involved in Waukegan a lot. We're actually the second phase. We're building the College of Lake County project in Grays Lake currently. And the second phase of that project is going to be put on a parking garage that you guys actually sold to the college not long ago. So we're very familiar with the area and the AHJs. So Richard, would you like to say anything before Matt and I get into the presentation?
Sure. It's my pleasure to have the opportunity to come back to Waukegan to help them be energy efficient. I've also started my own energy firm back in '99 after I left football, but I partnered with Vertigo Solution to bring this type of solution to the city that could be very, very beneficial to you guys. So without that, I'll let Chris move on.
Great. This is usually I'm going to make it as painless as possible. I know you guys are all spending a tremendous amount of time. I've got 4 kids 8 and under that are going to bang down the door in about 20 minutes. So I'll make sure that I answer as many questions as possible. I'll get through an overview of the company just so that you guys and we welcome you all to come down and visit our facilities. We're located and headquartered out of Chicago. We've got offices in Cleveland and Philadelphia, but we're located out of Chicago. Our engineering, what's unique about us is we're completely turnkey. Everything from the design engineering all the way down to the guys turning the wrenches are all out of one roof. They're all W-2 employees, and quality control and sustainability is a huge focus of ours. You can do a quick Google search on myself and the firm and find out some other exciting projects that we've had. I'm an educator myself. I'm a professor at the University of Chicago in the mathematics department. I only got in there because I'm fortunate to have hired a lot of people smarter than myself, and they recommended that my teachings would be beneficial for the university. But really eager to talk to you guys about what it would mean for the city, the savings, and then some of the long-term impacts. So first, what we traditionally do is go over a supplemental presentation that just talks about the firm a little bit. I can overview that first. I also believe that it was submitted, so you guys can look into the firm. But the meat and potatoes, the actual presentation, is probably what you guys are going to want to hear about most. So I'm not sure as far as timing is concerned, if you'd like to learn about the firm first or just jump into the presentation. I wanted to leave that up to you guys.
How long is the presentation, Chris?
The presentation, the meat and potatoes, is going to be about 20 minutes.
Why don't we, if everybody's all right with that, why don't we just jump into that? I think we can all Google a firm, do that. We are a little bit crunched for time, not too much, but a little bit. So if anybody,
Well, you should have something on both firms, but without, we'll cover that if necessary there.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got the RLD presentation over to them, Richard. So that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
So
I'll
if any,
jump right into it.
If nobody's opposed to that, let's just go right to the meat and potatoes. Is that all right?
That sounds great to
Okay.
me. Great. So I'm just gonna share my screen. Is that all right with you?
Yeah. However you guys do it, that's good.
Great. All right. Please let me know if you guys see it.
We do.
You see it? All right, great. So this presentation is really, we are instructed, and just a little bit of background, since we're not going over the presentations, we focus on working with colleges, schools, and municipalities. My background, when you do that Google search, you find I come from the managed commodity space. I worked down at the Board of Trade, working for companies like Merrill Lynch and Archer Daniel Midland derivatives since 2003. And I started up my own commodity trading advisor firm where we would actually hedge long-term energy positions for municipalities, commercial businesses. And one thing that really came about and what was a major focus of mine, starting a family. I live with my family in Inverness, pretty much, straight west of you guys. Is my wife was long term, trading these positions, and she was she knew my passion was renewable energy. So 2008, I made a shift towards going into renewable energy, and we've been able to build over 1,500 projects in 48 states. We've been on the Inc. 500 list. I've been blessed to be brought in to kind of consult with a lot of municipalities as they go solar. But the only reason I'm mentioning that is we've done this several times. I've got superintendents and mayors that can kind of speak to our professionalism and our level of execution. So, feel free to stop me and ask any questions that you might have. But I'll get through it as painlessly as I can, and then really open to any questions that you might have. This will be the third presentation that we've given. We've been working with CPAs and facility officials, and actually got to present it to the mayor as well. Just the opportunity, and obviously going to you is really the next step before a letter of intent could be signed. And the letter of intent, what that does, it basically allows what that allows is us to work with the investors that would come in, and they would finance the entire project. The city of Waukegan wouldn't need to come out of pocket whatsoever. There's third-party investors that are looking to monetize the federal tax credits that the city of Waukegan cannot. Those are called investment tax credits. Currently, they are on a step down period. They were at 30% previous to this year. So 2019 and before, the investment tax credit was at 30%, dollar for dollar of what you would invest into a solar system. So if a solar system was $10 million, you would receive a $3 million investment tax credit. You could also depreciate the asset and get a lot of tax benefit if you were a private business. There's also something called the Solar Renewable Energy Credits, which comes about from the Future Energy Jobs Act, passed by Rauner in 2016. And as part of the Exelon, they set some money aside for solar renewables, and there's obviously a major focus of the governor to go renewable with him running on 100% offset. So all that has come to roost. And then also ComEd has a set of incentives. So if you combine the utility incentives, the state incentives, the solar renewable energy credits, and the federal incentives, it makes for a very quick turnaround, quick payback for investors that can monetize those credits. And so they're looking for partners like yourself that have really great credit, strong financial taxable base and things like that, that they can bring in, and what they're willing to do, the set of investors that we work with, is finance us to build the entire project. And what the city would receive is all these solar panels throughout their facilities that would actually lower the costs. And what the what the organization, the investors do, is set a rate that's lower than the current utility rate. They call it the avoided utility cost. And Matt can talk about more, and I'm happy to get into it on how that's calculated. But we're only discussing what we can actually offset by the use of these solar panels. And more or less what we've been able to do is devise a system, and it's relatively small for what investors are willing to consider, but devise a system that we can place on 2 areas within Waukegan. It's the water treatment facility, pumping station that you guys have. And then you also have the elevated garage, which we are told isn't being entirely utilized. And so what we are presenting today is really worst case scenario. We see that pricing is only going to slightly improve, and the system size gets slightly larger. We've been fortunate to have received all the ComEd invoices, and thankful to your facilities team for supplying those. And what we realized is that we're going to save even more money than projected. But before we go too far down the rabbit hole, we want to propose this to you guys. If it makes sense, get a letter of intent between the investor and yourself, which just gives a time period of 3 months to do all the due diligence that we need to and gather the information up to 3 months. Because we're local, we can probably get it turned around in a couple weeks. And then we would then, and there's no financial obligation with that letter of intent by the city of Waukegan. All it says is, while we're doing all this engineering, is, let us, have that time. And after we do all the due diligence and we go and look at the meters and where the interconnections of the solar panels will go to the utility, we would then present what's known as a purchase power agreement, which is a set agreement where the city would agree to buy the solar power produced by the solar panels that are on the land. So the city gets the benefit of all the constituents seeing the solar energy, the city buying green energy off of panels that are already on their land with no money out of pocket. And they're buying that energy for cheaper than they can buy energy from ComEd. So it's a real win-win-win situation. So with that background being said, I'm going to jump right into the presentation. So the current annual energy consumption.
Hey, Chris, can
yeah.
we just real quick, you mentioned it was a pumping station. We're actually talking about the water treatment plant on Seahorse Drive. Okay,
yeah,
thank
sorry,
you. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, yep. I'm sorry. I had a previous pumping station presentation last week. I'm sorry. It's a water treatment facility. So with that said, the current annual energy consumption of that facility is about 4.5 megawatts, and so 4.5 million kilowatt hours a year. The avoided utility cost and how we get that is actually a little bit higher than 6 cents from our research, but we always like to come in relatively low. It's closer to what we're doing for College of Lake County, and actually the avoided utility cost is closer to 9 cents at the covered parking garage. So all the savings estimates that you guys are going to see here, they're actually a lot better in already our preliminary research that we've done. The system size, again, we size it at the minimum that investors would like to take a look at, and you'll see the design. It's a little over 1,100 modules. The system module power capacity is going to be 452 kW DC. Think of DC power is you're taking that sun energy and you're converting it to DC power. The sun hits the silicon wafers and converts to DC power, right? So Edison, and then it goes to an inverter that switches it to AC power, think Tesla, and that's used within the facility. And so whatever the solar panels produce is going to be utilized within the facility first. And if there's any extra, it's going to go back to the grid, and ComEd is going to give you a dollar for dollar credit. Actually, the investor dollar for dollar credit for whatever it overproduces. The projected annual energy production is for this system is only 610,000 kilowatt hours. You're going to see, so, you know, almost 1,200 panels and 610,000 kilowatt hours. We're actually going to be producing a little bit more. Again, we just want to be really conservative and get the low end buy-in from the committee and be able to kind of grow it from there where the savings only increases. The ratio of current consumption in this preliminary design, it's only 13%. Like I said, that is going to increase. Mounting style, it's a ground and a rooftop mount. So ground is where it's actually, it's fixed to the ground through various posts, I-beam posts, and it's a fixed system to the south. And then we have a rooftop mount on top of the water treatment facility and also on top of the parking garage. The estimated useful lifespan, it's 30 years. It's actually a lot more than that. There's solar panels that have been around since the Nixon era that are still producing. But we say 30 years. As an engineer, my background is you say when something gets to 85% efficiency of what it was originally manufactured to do, it's lost its useful life. Well, that's because the silicon panels, like anything else, degrade slightly per year. And that's a bankable amount between 0.2 and 0.5% a year. So, you know, worst case scenario is these solar panels after 30 years are going to be producing a little less than 85% of what they originally forecast to do. And so that's why we say useful lifespan, but they will be producing energy a lot longer. The PPA rate that we're proposing for this proposal, and again, this was when we proposed the smallest size to the investor. The smallest size is going to get really the highest cost because mobilization for us to build it and things like that. But we were able to save the city immediately for no money out of pocket right off the bat. The best part about this is that that's a fixed cost, right? 0.058, that's fixed. Whereas nationally on the supply side alone, which doesn't look at delivery and some of the other things, energy has gone up on the electricity side. And this is Department of Energy data that you can cite in California. Berkeley has done studies on this as well. Energy, despite the shale revolution and a lot of the natural gas commodity being a lot more available, is only 2.6% inflation per year. Okay, we're talking about fixing the PPA rate at 0.058 for the entire term of this agreement, which is incredible. So year over year, you save more. And ComEd's actually coming up with a big transmission increase, which is a lot more than 2.6%. I won't get political or go down that road right now, but that's a huge benefit. And we'll show you the preliminary cash flows here on the backside. So the annual energy savings proposed to the school, I'm sorry, not to the school, to the city, it's going to be just over $36,000 a year in year one. And the reduction in energy bill is going to be about 10.2% off the bill. The reason that, and you saw up there, it's 13% production, but we're only offsetting 10.2% of the bill. There's certain things on the city of Waukegan's bill that cannot be addressed with solar panels. Some of the fixed costs that are not WH related, such as meter charges and customer charges. The payback period to the city is 0 years. So the city gets to go solar for no money out of pocket. And we're utilizing land that currently you guys are not utilizing. This gets into project installation, some things like that. And we can come back and comment on those. The system size and configuration is AC power capacity. We're using tier 1 modules and everything is top notch. And the reason behind that, and I'll get into the design real quick. The reason that we're using tier 1, number one is we only want to put on quality product. You know, It's our name, our brand, our reputation that's on the line. But second of all, is this is an investor that is doesn't want to pay because they're obligated to have the systems up and running. They're the owners of the system. And so if something breaks, they're obligated via the purchase power agreement contract to get that fixed within 48 hours, or they have to basically give you rebate money from, because you were going to buy that energy at a cheaper cost. If you have to buy that, the Waukegan has to buy the energy from ComEd that's slightly more expensive. The individual owner gets penalized because the system isn't operating. So they want to use top tier product and make sure that it's going to last the term of the contract. Right here, you can kind of see there's two spots on where the project is set to go. We actually, in our research, Tina, we found out that there's actually, you're using more power than we thought originally in the parking garage facility. So that could increase slightly, that itself. And actually, Matt, this is a great time if you want to jump in and kind of talk about some of the design layouts. Matt, are you muted? If not, I can talk about it, but he's
all right. I'm here.
Okay, got it.
Sorry, I had so many screens.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. So yeah, the main things to note here are, the kind of the rooftop design, on the right here at the water plant. That's a flat roof for the most part. So we use a ballasted system. No penetrations to the roof. We can maintain all the warranties. It's a really slick flat roof system that, again, you don't actually have to drill in or have worries about leaks or anything like that. And then you have the two ground mount solutions. So like Chris mentioned, it could be a post, driven, or a ballasted post with concrete. Again, these will be things we'll kind of iron out when we can get on site firsthand. And then on the left, on the west side, you can see we're actually utilizing some of that sloped area that's sloping to the west. And so, we've been working with a few different companies. We think we can get, panels in there on that slope and facing west. And again, just once we get out there and see it, we'll have a much better idea on that design and everything. But, and then the parking garage is the same, ballasted system. So essentially just weighted down and all connected. And then we could do, fencing or barriers or anything around that, however you want to display it.
Yep. One thing to note is that all the designs are both have electrical and structural stamps, and then it's submitted through the city of Waukegan for approval before construction. But it's also verified by the investor and their engineering team as well, as they're only going to pay us for a system that is going to last. So all those things, there's a great system of checks and balances throughout the process. And so that being said, the only thing I would that often comes up when we speak to cities or schools is if you look at the north side of the water treatment facility, it looks like a newer roof. We're not going to have to deal with much there. On the southern side, it looks like an older aged roof, and it is cost prohibitive to remove the panels and put them back on. And so what the investors are going to like to see, if possible, is some sort of plan where the city would cover, re-roof that section prior to installation of the solar panels. All right, I'd like to mention that. So this is just a general cash flow. Again, being super conservative, we are still able to put the city in the green right away. What you see on this cash flow analysis is the PPA payments. Please notice how, so year one's 35,000, but you're going to save 36,000, right? It's somewhat not a tremendous savings, but again, we install the entire project for no money out of cost for that. The PV generation, the total cash flow, and you see how that grows. The reason it grows, the PPA payments are going to go down slightly because those panels are going to produce a little bit less each year. The electric bill savings is going to go up because we're adding that 2.6% inflation on those energy bills that you guys are paying. Again, that's very conservative for what they're predicting for future. We've seen estimates from Morgan Stanley, Zacks Investments, Goldman Sachs, as high as between 4.5% to 5% in certain areas of the Midwest, especially with them shutting down, potentially shutting down a lot of the nuclear power plants. So why we have such low energy here in Illinois. PV generation, you have your kilowatt hours, that's going to go slightly to ground because the panels are slightly degrading. So if over the term of the contract, which is 25 years, and then you've got those 5 years for useful life, which is going to be longer, is savings to the city of $657,000 versus just doing what you're currently doing. And some of those assumptions are, again, being very conservative. I love the best part about working with cities and schools is when Matt and I go back a year after and showing them how we actually beat our estimates. The reason that we're so conservative is because the investors really make us be, because they usually take worst case scenario for how they pay us to build a project. Well, we pass those estimates on to the cities, because we don't, heaven forbid that we don't come in line with what we say we're going to do. We would like Waukegan to be a leader in the area, for this to be a feature project, not only in Lake County, but throughout the state and the Midwest. All the positive publicity. We have those drone flights that we take over, the ribbon cuttings. Every state representative and sometimes federal representative wants to be a part of these ribbon cuttings, because it is really showing the stewardship and commitment to renewable energy that the city has. But getting into the assumptions really quick, it's important to realize that we take into account 20 years of weather data that's triangulated from the local weather stations. You got one in Zion. You have one at Milwaukee. I grew up in Roy Meadows, Arlington Heights area. We used to call it Milwaukee. I think it's called Chicago Executive Airport now. A couple others, but that take into account everything from snowfall and cloud cover to rain, average sunny days. And what you're seeing in these forecasts is an average of those 20 years. So some years you're going to see more and some years you're going to see less. Some of the optics, because not everyone's going to drive by the water treatment facility, is we also donate to, and for the College of Lake County, it was 55-inch screens. Maybe you guys can negotiate with me a little bit bigger screens. I think that's pretty big screen. But we also will install the system in City Hall, potentially at another city building, and you can actually see the production with all the trees that are being saved, the thousands of trees that are being saved, the CO2 offset in tons, also the cars that you're taking off the road, all those figures along with the production of the system, which obviously you're going to see more production in those high sun months like May, June, and July versus January and February. So what's great about this project is the city gets all those positive benefits to share with the community for no money out of pocket. The only thing that kind of is a little bit tough is we're kind of against a timeline. So the 26% ITC tax credit goes from 26% to 22% in 2021, and then it goes down to 10% in 2022. So ideally, what the next steps would be is to get an LOI in front of the right people within the at Waukegan, get our engineering studies done in the next couple weeks, and then hopefully get a purchase power agreement in front of your board and the mayor to sign if it makes sense. So with all that being said, very conservative estimate and a very a good looking project, even it being relatively small to what we traditionally do, but it's a very exciting opportunity, and clearly we're Richard, Matt, and myself are eager to answer any questions you might have.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Chairman?
Go ahead, Alderman. Go ahead. Yes. Sure, sure.
Great presentation there, Chris. So you're targeting the parking garage and the water plant. Why not include City Hall and the Public Works facility out on Macquarie Road? Why not get them all?
Let me jump in and take that one if you wouldn't mind, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the only places where we actually pay those kind of utility bills are the business enterprise systems, which are the ones that are revenue generating. So that is the water plant and the parking garage. There would not be a savings for our other facilities because we don't pay utility bills for those. So we wanted first to bring forward for consideration a project like this that would pay for itself. I know Chris has shared some of the numbers, but when you throw in re-roofing the water plant, we're looking, something that could break even before we worry about generating additional cash flow.
Okay, that makes sense, Tina. Thank you so much. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah. Any other questions? Noel, remember, I can't see everybody. Any other questions?
Chris, could you stop sharing your screen so that I'm able to see everybody?
Oh, yeah. Yep, sorry.
Thank you.
Alderman Florian has a question.
Okay.
I'm curious, what's in it for the investors? So do they get the difference in the energy cost? And are those payments that you listed, are we paying that to the investors then?
Yes, Alderman, that's correct. So they receive they're receiving certain incentives. So they're receiving the investment tax credit, and they're depreciating the asset. They get that in year one. In year two, they also start to get the solar renewable energy credits paid by the state, and that's paid to them over 5 years. Then they get a true up payment in year 15. The state makes sure that the system produces what it says it's going to. And then there's a small ComEd, it's called a smart inverter rebate, which the city benefits from because you get to have all those readouts, and it allows for net metering and ComEd to utilize the extra energy that's produced if there is the capability of it overproducing, if the facility doesn't need all that energy that the solar panels are producing. So ComEd actually pays you a rebate for that. So the investor is monetizing all those things. And then for the period of the time, so they get their investment up back by year 6 or 7, somewhere around there. But a lot of that is certain incentives that you guys can't benefit from as far as the investment, the federal tax credit. And then they receive, as you said, those payments over, the remaining 19 years of the plan, and that's where they're making their money. And we make our money building it and maintaining it.
Right. So would you share those actual numbers with us that the investors would get? Okay.
Yeah.
And do we have a dollar figure on how much a new roof is going to cost us?
No, not at this time. We wanted to just kind of run this past you and see if there is interest. That's something that would have to go out to bid. It is part of the items that, has been identified by the engineers that should be considered for the water treatment plant.
Because to me, that would make a big difference on whether this is, feasible or not. I mean, if a new roof is, $1 million, I mean, I don't know how much it'll be. But... Okay.
Traditionally, roofs of that size wouldn't cost $1 million, especially in a bidding situation. I think you guys should. Yeah, but again, that's really up to your internal team.
And it would just be the southern roof.
Thank you.
No other questions?
I don't see anybody else with a hand raised, Alderman.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for your presentation. We'll go from there. If nothing else, one more comment. Bear down. We have
Oh, thank you.
bear down,
Thank
baby.
you,
5
thank
to
you.
1, you know it. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
With nothing else, where's my agenda? Yikes. Oh, over
Be
here.
ready to adjourn, Chairman.
Yes. Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Seeger to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner? Could you unmute yourself?
Aye.
Thank you. Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood?
Aye.
Alderman Seeger? You're muted, sir. Alderman Seeger, could you unmute yourself, please? I could see you saying aye, but we couldn't hear you.
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry
And
about
Chairman
that.
Moiseo.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.